Ready to go.
Perfect. So it's your Jay host here for the Learn First podcast. We have another brilliant guest. As we like to do, I would give the guest Aaron a chance to introduce himself and a bit more about what he does. So, Aaron, the floor is yours if you want to tell us a bit more about kind of
Yeah,
yourself and what you do.
yeah. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate your time and giving me the opportunity to come on here and share with everybody. So, like you said, my name's Aaron Clark. I am the corporate director of admissions for Delta College here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But we actually have six locations across southern Louisiana, from Slidell all the way to Lake Charles. So, if it's a long major city along I-10, we are there. Except for New Orleans. Except for New Orleans, we were there for a while, and that was a lot more work than what we were willing to want to keep doing.
Okay, interesting. Maybe we can discuss that later on. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say, yeah, we let that location go in the late '80s, early '90s. So yeah. Also, I like to tell everybody I am a recovering football coach. So I am either your favorite or least favorite to watch the the American football games with, because I totally understand everything. So you'll either love me or you'll hate me because I understand what's supposed to be happening, and
I
it makes for a difficult journey on that.
can imagine. Are
And
you, are
then,
you sorry to cut you off. You're one of these analytical guys when you watch games or?
oh yeah, oh yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean, we love our LSU Tigers here.
yeah, of
And
course,
I
yeah.
can't watch with the just average fan because they'll lose their mind over something. I'm like, well, that didn't happen because this guy didn't do whatever. And they're like, stop it. And I'm like, you asked. I'm just letting you know. So I typically just don't watch anymore because I can't watch without watching through the coach's eye. And so they're
Yeah,
just like, yay, we scored a touchdown. Like that kid missed that block. We should have
yeah,
scored faster.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. One of those guys. I get it. I get it. I can be like that with other sports myself, but yeah, I totally get it.
yeah.
I did cut you off. You was
Oh,
saying.
all good, all good. So I've been married now for 19 years. We have me and my wife Dawn. We have two boys, 18 and 14, and so excited about that aspect of life. And then I do a podcast as well. I think that was how we got connected, through the
Yeah,
Clark called the Coach Clark Connection podcast, where we talk about leadership and development. So absolutely, and also run motocross ministry here in Louisiana. So lots of hats, lots of things.
yeah. But there's a lot. Motocross ministry sounds interesting. I'm not really sure what that is or how that actually works. I'm assuming
So
motocross Christianity like, but
yeah, I was going to say, so I got involved with that. A lot of people are familiar with FCA, or Fellowship of Christian Athletes, especially here in the States. Not sure over where you're from, but it's one that I knew, as faith is a huge, important part of my life. Whenever my son wanted to start racing, I said, well, cool. Most of the races happen when church is supposed to be taking place. So we're going to bring church to the track. And that's how it got started.
that's
Um,
amazing. That is amazing. I like that.
yeah,
That's
I was going to say, and those are some cool guys. The motocross community is a really cool community. I mean, I've gotten to meet uh, several very well-known names and have had several conversations. Recent Hall of Famer Kevin Windham is one that I've got a very close relationship with, and then like show up at races, a guy like Chad Reed, James Stewart, those guys. Been fortunate enough to meet them and get to know them, and that just to see their work ethic is what I really enjoy getting to know. So really cool stuff. Really cool stuff.
that's cool. And something we'll discuss later on, I guess, was I definitely want to learn more about your podcast and attend because that's a big thing for me. I love studying leadership, um, personal development, growth. That's my sort of thing as well. And I love seeing the work ethic as well because it's good to see the greats like what they do. It doesn't matter the sport or what you do, even if it's in business. It's like there's something that separates them, isn't there?
Hmm.
I think it's quite interesting. As we try
Absolutely.
as we strive to success ourselves. But anyway, it seems like we're going on a bit of a tangent, so because we could be here all day. Clearly, it seems like. But
Yes, we could.
well, we'll go ahead with the first question, which is obviously going to be education related. So, you guys are obviously a career college, which everyone would know just by a quick Google search. So, typically, I'm assuming, and I know that you guys do, but typically you guys deal with like non-traditional students, if you want to call them that. I guess you could define that in your own way. Just so you're aware as well, in the UK, we do exactly the same thing. We call it something different. You guys are like called career colleges, vocational colleges, junior colleges. We're called well, they're just colleges, but there's a sector called further education. So that's what we call it. They do exactly the same thing.
Gotcha.
Non-traditional students, students that for us, typically, I know for you guys, you get a lot of influx from Latin America, South America. For us, it's mainland Europe. So like we're obviously the UK. You get a lot of Europeans, Bulgaria, Slovakia, Romania, Italy, Spain. They come over to the UK for better opportunities. Then they need a career college to bridge the gap. So I'm assuming it's very similar for yourself. But with that being said, how do you guys, what challenges have you found dealing with these sort of non-traditional students, shall we say?
Yeah. So the biggest thing I would say that with the non-traditional students is their confidence. And so one thing that I've seen since we've been doing this, we'll run what's called the NSLDS, which basically tells everybody, hey, here's every school that Jay has attended. Here's where he's received financial aid, etc. It's kept by the Federal Department of Education, and so we all um, what's the word I'm looking for? They check that before somebody comes and enrolls because it helps with determining what you do or don't qualify for in financial aid over here. And so a lot of our students, they've been like, it's pretty common for us to see they four, five, even six colleges on their NSLDS before they make it to us. And so I jokingly tell my team all the time that we are last chance you. And
Yeah.
so picking on the Netflix series, of course,
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it really is it for a lot of our students. They come to us that Jay, they're beat up. They've been, they failed at the local university, the local college, the community college. They're at a dead end job. They don't like where they are. They might not have been good at high school,
Mhm.
and a lot of them their support system is very horrible. To be quite frank and honest, because I couldn't imagine if I was trying to go to school and my parents or my spouse or loved ones going like, seriously, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why do you want to
Yeah.
go to
Hey,
college?
and all this sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that confidence to be able to do it, that that's one we've been seeing a lot lately is, who supports your decision. Well, I hadn't told anybody yet. Well, why? Well, because, I went to this college and didn't do good, and I went to that one and didn't do good. And so I was trying to get a promotion at my job and I didn't get it.
Mm.
And so I don't want anybody to know that I'm going to potentially try something and fail, which is what they've all been dealing with. And it's a really it's I think it's a huge privilege and an honor to be able to help these students to go get a career that they can be proud of. One, I'll tell this is one of my favorites. So and we actually have orientation today. So we start a class every 6 weeks.
Okay.
And so I'll actually make my way over there in a little bit, which means we have a group of students that are about to graduate. And I'm always, what would you tell a new student? What would you do this? And I had one that came in and she said, you know what? That I would tell them that I'm a quitter. And well, I used to be a quitter. I used to be a quitter. And I say that and that they should come to Delta College and take everything seriously. That because if it wasn't for my admissions representative and my teachers, I would not have made it through because you guys called me and texted me and called me and texted me and called me and texted me. And so I finally just started showing up so you guys would leave me alone. And she said, I graduate today. Like I finished the program, that I'm the valedictorian of my class. I'll be speaking at graduation when we have the false graduation. And I've never completed any, I've never been at the top of anything before. But I can do that now. Because you guys helped me and you guys believed that I could do it. I didn't believe I could do it. And now my kids can see, I tell them I'm proud of where I'm working now versus, yeah, I'm still at that dead end job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
And
see.
so, I mean,
Yes.
that's what we're
Yeah.
dealing with.
So it seems like you guys are really good at connecting with people, and really, I think that's the key thing, isn't it? It's people. So you're really good at connecting people, understanding where they're coming from, empathizing with them, and then kind of supporting them through that process instead of bums on seats approach, shall we say?
Yes, yes. Now we want all the bums on seat
Yeah,
as
we of
possible,
course.
but
Yeah, 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 of course. Yeah, it's a balance, isn't it? We had a podcast the other day, a session the other day, and we were discussing that balance. It's literally a balance, but
Mhm.
I think what you said there kind of highlights. where you guys are with it, really. And that's where you get the success with these sort of students, isn't it, at the end of the day? And yeah, I'm sure some listeners could potentially take uh some potential some takeaways from it really and kind of use some of this stuff as well. Understanding that people, it's all about people. Even it's kind of a side note, but we deal with a lot of students as well, for our clients. Because typically colleges like yourself are our clients, and we have but we're an agency, so it's like bums on
Hmm.
seats is our thing. But at the same time, we've developed a lot, we've grown a lot, and we've realized, yeah, when you connect with people, understand people, empathize with people, you get people starting, get people retaining, and get people finishing, which is obviously what every college wants and what's the outcomes. That's how you guys are judged anyway. So yeah, I totally agree.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. So. Moving on to something a bit similar.
Hmm.
When it comes to admissions, how do you guys balance kind of urgency, support, and giving students that extra guidance? I know that you kind of already answered that, but have you got anything else?
Yeah. So, I mean, with the urgency, if, and I mean, you could ask anybody that's in education or when's a good time to start school? Well, the answer is never. So today is actually the best day to get started because, I mean, if you keep putting it off, I mean, we had one that's starting today that we've been working with for over 2 years. And it was like, you could have already had this if you'd have started 2 years, like you would not be here today if you'd have started 2 years ago. And so it comes back to that confidence. But we give them check marks, benchmarks along the way. If you were coming in, I would tell you, all right, Jay, now we just signed you up, we just got you enrolled. I'm going to need you to bring in your social security card, and I need that high school diploma by the end of next week. So I need it before Friday. Those are the only two things you've got left. Can you get me those before next Friday? And you
Mhm.
might be like, but the start's not until August or whatever. I know, but the people who get me this stuff that within a week tend to be the most successful. You want to be successful, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get that in within a week, and just encourage them to keep that communication with us that throughout that. Um,
Mhm.
and that's one that we do to help them, because the faster they get everything turned in, the more they're ready. But then we'll ask, all right, who's taking care of your kiddos? What do you have as far as like transportation? We're trying to. I don't like to call it objection prevention instead of objection handling, because if I can get that taken care of before it happens, then you're more likely to be successful. And again, going back to, they weren't successful at the other places. Why? Because nobody taught them, hey, you got to be proactive, and they really start thinking about, what am I doing in the future? How do I make sure that I eliminate as many problems as possible?
Yeah, I see. I see. So like future-proofing the situation and future-proofing the process.
Hmm.
Something you mentioned was quite interesting, kind of off topic, I guess, but within the stream of things is you mentioned if people hand this stuff in within a week of inquiring or something along those lines, then you're most likely going to be successful. And that's something that is exciting to me because we love data here, and we use that to support our clients and our own business. So I'm assuming you guys have some data on this sort of stuff? Like, do you guys track a lot of data? Do you manage data? Do you use data a lot in
Oh
your
yeah.
processes? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we find the fast now, we don't have an exact track as far as like, all right, Jay turned his stuff in
Okay, yeah, like a
after a
yeah.
week of enrolling, but we know the faster you get it in, the more likely you are to succeed. And some of it is that you put it there, and then it allows them to even if, like, let's say you weren't able to get your diploma and transcripts to us that within the week, if you let us know, we can help you do that because we've created a lot of connections and relationships with the local high schools. So you may not be able to get it. They may tell
Oh,
you, oh, you can't
okay.
get it for 14 days. Hold up. I'm calling them right now. Hey, this is Aaron. And they're like, oh, hey, what's up, Mr. Clark? Yeah, so that student that just sent this, I need them to turn that in today. They're like, oh, we'll have it over to you in 10 minutes.
Okay, but then they wouldn't know if you. Yeah. So okay, I see.
Hmm.
Okay, I see. Very proactive. Then you guys are very proactive with your approach. It seems.
Yeah. And again, it comes back to, they failed so much and don't have anybody in their corner. We
Yeah.
want to be that person in your corner. Like, no, we're not here to beat you down. Our job, you said, I want to be a practical nurse. I want to be a medical assistant, dental assistant, medical office, health and information technician, massage therapist, the cosmetologist. You fill in all the different programs that we offer. You said you want to do that. We want to help you get there. Our goal is not to say, I got mine, you get yours. It's no, I got mine, so let me help you get yours.
Yeah, I see. Okay, interesting. I want to move into the next question, but even with
Yeah.
what you've said, I think because we've worked with a lot of we work mainly with the UK's most of our clients in the same sort of career college field. We do a bit of higher education as well, doing a bit more in the US and Canada. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I've noticed that not everyone has that approach. Because as we're having this conversation,
Mhm.
I'm appreciating your approach really because a frustration for us as an agency is like we'll do a lot of the initial care handling that you guys are doing, and
Mhm.
the client, shall we say, or the college, they just kind of like literally what you said. So it's like we're a college, we're established, we're the biggest in East London or wherever they are. Like you come to us, like it's almost arrogant. It's like I don't know how to explain it. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're the college.
Mhm.
You've given your details to the agency. They've handed you off to us. We'll come back to you and we're ready. Like you said, it's August. It may start in August. We're like, cool. We'll come back to you in August. And if we try to email, you
Mhm.
don't respond. Then cool. Guess you're not interested. It's like, but not everyone reads their emails. And do you know what I mean? So it's like there's no like um attention to detail, attention to care like you guys are doing. Not every college does that, and I've noticed. I don't know. It depends where you're at, but some of the bigger ones they don't do that. Maybe because they're too big. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's something that guys people can take away. I guess, especially people in admissions, regardless of where you're in the world. I think is
Oh yeah.
yeah, for sure. Because
I mean, I tell all my guys all the time that we're 911 operators to their careers, dreams, and goals. They didn't reach out.
I like
They're not.
your sayings, man. You got a lot of sayings. I'm sorry, go
Well, it's part of
ahead.
that. I tell everybody, if you want to learn some witty sayings, hang out with some coaches, because we got some stuff. Where
Yeah,
it
you
came
got
from, we
some
don't know, but we got some stuff. Uh,
balance.
But with that, nobody's. It's much like the doctor. Nobody's calling the doctor because things are going well. You're going to see the doctor because you're sick. You're calling 911 because something is terribly wrong in your situation, and they're not going to hang up the phone with you until they know you've got the help you needed. And if they've reached out to me, they're not happy with their job. They're not happy with where they are.
Mhm.
They know that they need something better, and we get to do that. We get to help them do that.
Fantastic. And I think there's passion there, which was partly why you guys have the approach you do. But totally agree with it, and definitely love what you guys are doing the way you do it. That moving on to something quite similar, I guess, is how important do you think local outreach and community presence is for you guys? Again, based on what you said earlier, it seems like it's a massive importance. But I'd love to know a bit more about
Yeah,
like, how important it is to you and what kind of stuff do you guys do? Again, you can reveal as much or as little as you can reveal, but
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so we used to not do as much before I got here. I came back in 2021, and one of the biggest things that I noticed, that being a former high school football teacher coach, is that there wasn't a whole lot of like the career colleges that were in the high schools. It was always the big universities, the big colleges, the military. And so like those guys don't know that, but they don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. And so I created a position. Was fortunate enough, my I wanted to get a high school liaison, and that was their only job. I wanted them reaching out to the local high schools. And fortunate enough that one of my directors of admissions that was just like, look, I can't keep up with the game anymore. I've been in this. I mean, he's now in his late 60s, early 70s, and was just like, I don't want to learn the new stuff. I don't want to do it anymore. I can't keep up, but I love what we do. I love how we help people. And I said, perfect. I just created a position for you. You're going to
No.
be my high school liaison. He was like, what? I was like, that's going to be you. And so he's loving it. He's been doing it now for 3 years. And was like, I was looking at retiring about 3 years ago, and I love it. All I I'm getting calls from local high schools like, "Hey, can you come visit us today? I've got about 12 students you need to talk to."
Yeah,
And so it's huge to be able to get in there and just show them they have other options. You don't have to go get a bachelor's degree to be successful.
exactly. I mean, I'm really big on vocational stuff. So a student like myself, I was not good academically, so I needed this. And I was in the same boat. In high school, I didn't understand that these options existed. It took me till 23 years old to figure out this stuff existed. Then I actually did some vocational stuff. But again, if you came, obviously you're over there, but it's the same principle, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
you were approaching us earlier, which the UK has done a lot more with that stuff now. But yeah, if we knew, we would have jumped, especially students like myself. I was vocational. I needed that sort of support.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
And I mean, that touched on a good point. Our average student when I started was about 26, 27. Now we're somewhere 24, 25. They're just trying to really reach the high schools
hmm.
because that bothers me that they've got all these students. Not everybody's meant to get a bachelor's degree. You don't need it for probably about 90% of what the jobs that are out there.
This is
Like
it's
we
crazy. But
need
true.
mhm, we need these people. We need people, medical assistants make the doctor's office run. If you don't have them, you don't have the doctor's offices running like they need to. If you don't have welders, if you don't have people, I mean, but down here in South Louisiana, the HVAC, AC is a huge thing because it's like 98 degrees right now,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
it's 10
yeah.
in the morning. It's
Oh,
pretty hot.
4 a.m. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, oh yeah, you'll melt if you step outside. It's terrible.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like that's like cruel and unusual punishment if you don't have
Yeah, yeah,
AC.
yeah. The AC. But yeah, and that's part of our problem in the UK. We're not built for hot weather. That's why we struggle. We don't have AC. We don't have anything. HVAC
Mhm.
are big over here because we it's never hot. So it's just like, but when it is hot, we can't handle it. So yeah, it's another story.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah, of course, these certifications are key, vital for
Mhm.
society to run and communities to run for sure. So the bigger numbers we can do, the better. Leading on to kind of like a community, because now I'm just having this conversation with you. I'm learning a lot more about the approach you guys have, and it seems that you have personally. It would be good to if you can walk us through like a successful learner journey or student journey, kind of beginning to
Yeah.
end, what it looks like. Again, for our agency, that's what we do. We specialize in admission, student recruitment, all this sort of stuff. So we're always tinkering with processes, tinkering with different tools we can use. So we're curious to know a bit more about what you guys do, and how it works for you.
Okay, so you're looking for like as soon as we get the lead all the way until they actually finish school, or
Well, I'd say leads to get in, to start in day one. That's what I would
all
say.
right.
And then yeah.
Yeah, so our typical journey is that the the lead reaches out to us. I like to call them explorers, and I feel like lead is people just know
Yeah,
it as that, and I don't like to call it a prospect, or because I feel like I'm trying to get something by you. Like it just feels like a dirty word.
yeah, that's yeah, in education, yeah, especially.
But and so I like to call them explorers. Do I want to be a doctor? Do I want to be a lawyer? Do I want to be an astronaut? Garbage man? I don't know. They, but they know they want something. And so typically they reach out to us whether they fill out on our website, through social media, or call in. So once they call in, they talk with an admissions representative who then sets up a tour of some sort, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person. We want to meet with you one on one to help you, and we call it a career planning session and tour uh, because that's what we're just helping you do. And I've had students leave here that I'm like, look, we're not going to be the best fit for you. So what you're wanting, you need to go more to this school. They go see them. They offer the program you really want. So I mean, we're looking to help. That's our number one is to help. But so call in. We'd give them a tour interview. They'll meet with financial aid. From there, we get them to turn in all of their documents that are required to start school. So over here, we need a valid form of identification, their social security card, uh, proof of high school graduation, whether it's high school diploma transcript or GED equivalent, their shot records, and that we have a $100 registration fee. So those are the five main things that we need. Once they turn all that in, we get them started on day one.
Okay.
Now, as far as like success, one of the ones that I thought was cool because this happened that just last year. I'm really proud of this young lady. She just graduated. um, the school that she went to, the high school that she went to, actually changed. So we have public schools, private schools, and charter schools over here.
Mhm.
So her high school that she started at was a public school. Well, it became a charter school while she was there, and it is now back in the public school system. And so when during that time frame, what the records that the charter school had, they got lost. Like they didn't submit them properly.
Yeah, and then
And so when she went to go pull her diploma or transcripts, they were like, "Yeah, we don't have them." Like her it so it shows that they didn't exist. So when I stepped in and to try to help out, I was like, this is a weird situation. So I'll help in any way I can. So I call the school. I'm talking with the counselor, and the counselor she's like, I've been here for 20 years and I don't know what they did with those files. And I could tell she was upset.
yeah,
Like, like she wasn't having a nice conversation like we are.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I was like, wow. So we started working on our contacts in the State Department of Education to see, well, what can we do to help this person? Well, we finally found that she said, I went to another school and I didn't finish. I had a child, didn't go back. And she was like, I got to complete. So I was like, look, I know the guy over there. I talked to their director of admission. He was like, well, we don't keep those if they've been out for over a year. We shred them.
mm,
So I was like, but y'all accept her. Can you send me something saying that you accepted her because you had this? So got her to do that, went to my president and said, look, this is what I've got. This is what's going on. So he's now upset because some school messed over this student. And he said, you know what? I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to bring her in school and we're gonna make her help her graduate and get through. And so then he starts calling his State Department contacts. Come to find out, he was able to find it because they were able to find it. It was a crazy how they submitted the records. So now they now know how to find it for the other students from that school. A pretty cool story that we're willing to go through to help that person because I mean she was sitting in my office and the young lady was upset, rightfully so. I went through
take
a
an
graduating
opportunity.
count.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
big opportunity for
Uh,
her.
and so they're really proud that she was able to make it through, had over a 3.0 GPA.
Wow.
A real big thing for somebody who
Yeah.
who wasn't success like she had a 2.0 in high school.
Yeah, so I know that person. I struggled in high school as well, so I know what it's like to achieve later on once you do get that support that you need. That's a great story. That's definitely a great story, and it shows again the kind of attention to detail you guys have. It's only one student, but you actually said we want to take care of the student and support them in any way we can. I was going to ask to for you to give us an example of because obviously you just explained the process. I was like, well, from my experience dealing with this process, a lot goes wrong. But
All
then
the time.
yeah, so I was going to ask for a few of those. I think you've just given me like one of the biggest situations of biggest situation where things can go really, really wrong. And it could just feel like the student's going to struggle to get on a program because of God knows what reason. We have those issues. It's the same process, by the way, we have over in the UK. Very
Hmm.
similar. And then it's the same thing. And then when you try to contact the school, it's a nightmare. So yeah, interesting. I was going to ask for some examples, but I think that is probably the biggest one you
Yeah,
could have given us, to be fair.
absolutely. And I talk with my team all the time. Our president likes to talk about he calls it the starfish. But I like to, yeah, everybody's familiar with the butterfly effect.
Mhm.
And after being here now for 55 years, we're now seeing where, I was talking with one. She said, "Yeah, my grandmother came and graduated in 73."
Wow.
I was like, "Okay, so we've made an impact
Good. Yeah.
3 generations down." And so I never know just by me helping that one student, who else does she go and help that I
Mhm.
have no idea the lives that I touched. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help change lives. If you're in education, you're not here to become wealthy for notoriety. You're here to help people, help them change their lives.
Yeah.
And that's where I think some of us get lost in the education community.
100%. Like I said, from the echo that I've kind of got through this session today is your approach, and yeah, you actually care about helping people and value to people's lives, which ultimately gets you paid anyway.
Hmm.
And then, as we said earlier, as an agency, we need bums on seats. That's what we do. But
Us
but
too. Us
yeah,
too.
no, but you said that's what I'm saying. So you said the same thing earlier, but the same the right approach, and because when you have the right approach, it seems to give you more bums on seats long term. I've
Hmm.
noticed because we've been doing this for 6 years. We've tried everything. We've done it, every trick in the book. So Like, is you
Mhm.
realize that, okay, if you deal with the students in a certain way, understand their situation, profile it, manage it, they jump on the program and then eventually stay on program, which is the most important thing ultimately. Which again is another question for me, really. Retention, what kind of retention is obviously key for every single institution. The smile
Whew.
that's
It's been rough lately, man. Gosh.
yeah,
But uh
yeah, well,
I
yeah,
mean, you constantly look there, new years, new days, new problems. And so you're constantly looking to see what do I have to do with that. One of the bottom lines is we believe that, you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. So, kind of talking about the bums and seats. That's how we get paid. We get paid by the
ultimately,
number of students that are in chairs. And, I'll tell them all the time, on my team all the time, money's not the most important thing, but it does rank right up there next to oxygen. And so
that's another
we
one
we
liner. That's another code
yeah,
word.
we do need we do need the money. Uh, but that's not why we do it. And so just we're looking into one of the new programs that we're about to implement is a AI voice calling service. So we'll connect it to our LMS, our learning management system, where if let's say Jay, you missed 2 days of class, well, the teacher should be calling. Well, if you've got 60 students that you're
Yeah.
responsible for, and by the end of the day you forget, oh, Jay wasn't in class. Well, you know who doesn't? The AI that you
Yeah,
program to say if
yeah,
Jay misses two on day number two, if they
yeah.
put in absent, it's going to call Jay to get in touch with Jay. It's going to shoot him a text message. It's going to send him an email. It's going to reach out to, hey, what's going on? We're here to help you. Reach out. Hey, and I'll be able to get it to where it'll notify their admissions representative and the campus director. It'll just be something that's just so quick that one of us can reach out at some point to make sure that we don't lose that student because it could just be they're having a bad day.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is a lot of the time. It's having a bad day, personal circumstances. But as you
Hmm.
said, they can just drift away, which is literally
Hmm.
what we want to use is drift. They slowly but surely drift away. So that is a perfect segue to the final segment, really. AI and how you guys are using it. Uh,
Oh,
you want to just continue with what you were saying, because that's very interesting for me because anyway, go ahead. Because I've
yeah,
spoken
no.
to different institutions across the globe, like literally UAE, UK, US, Canada,
Mhm.
Australia as well. Like we even spoke to an organization in Australia that basically works in government. So they also work indirectly with the whole of career, vocational slash further education in Australia. And they're nowhere near doing what you just mentioned. So I'd be curious
Yeah.
for you to break it down a bit more.
So we hadn't got it implemented yet. We just kind of discovered it through it's a CRM company called Connext, Connext. And the whole thing that they're run that the guy Mike started his company. He was in the proprietary school, vocational trade school industry, and so it started off. What was the one thing that they struggled with? Getting in touch with students after they graduate, after they left, or if they just stopped coming to class. That was always the hardest thing. And so he wanted to make sure that it was removing the hard stuff, or not really hard stuff, but just the stuff that I hate to call it mundane and unimportant, but that's what, for most of us, that's what it is. Oh man, I got to call. They didn't show up today. Let me call them. Oh, they didn't answer. I got to remember to call them again if they don't. And this will just, AI will do it for you. It just does exactly what it's programmed to do. And I think AI is definitely something that you want to be in front of this curve. You want to be in front of this wave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's huge what all it can do. Just being able to see it as far as even part of our learning management system, starting to use it for tutoring. Because when does AI sleep?
yeah. That's the thing.
It doesn't. So if I got a student who's had to go work their job, and so now they're coming, it's 1 a.m. and they're doing something, they don't understand it. Well, they can type into the AI chat bot down there in the bottom right corner. Hey, I don't understand how I'm supposed to put a blood pressure cuff on. Can you show me how to do that? And it'll pop up. Here's 5 different videos. Here's different techniques here. So you have a tutor 24/7.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's a bad thing.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I totally agree. I think public perception and opinion is going to have to catch up with it. But I think ultimately, like you said, you want to be ahead of the curve, not behind it. We're ahead of it. We've developed so many systems with AI,
Mhm.
with admissions, recruitment, and all that sort of stuff. We actually are finalizing development for what you guys seem to be jumping on with, which is like a retention tool, which is like
Yes.
the moment they get something gets reported, bang, instant contact, WhatsApp, SMS, iMessage, phone call, whatever it is. And then it kind of understands that learner situation, reports on it, and all that sort of stuff. So it's powerful. It's very, very powerful. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know, I've loved everything today. Like I love the way I love your approach. I love the fact that you're all in on AI. I know you said you're kind of just getting started with it, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're clearly on the ball. So I think this is a wake-up call for whoever's listening. Um, follow suit, follow suit. And if you wanted any AI tools, definitely come reach out to us. But with that being said, to finalize, where do you see AI? I usually like to ask, where do you see AI? How do you see AI impacting education in the next 3 to 5 years? But 5 years, in my opinion, just looking at the speed is too far. So let's look
Yeah.
at the next 2 to 3 years. You guys are clearly ahead of it. We're ahead of it. Our clients are ahead of it. But there's only so many of our
Hmm.
clients. So in terms of not everyone's adapted to this clearly. Like I just mentioned in Australia,
Yeah.
the UAE, the Dubai is good. They're
Mhm.
adapting. But anyway, the point is, where do you think going in 2, 3 years? What do you think like everyone will need what you've got or trying to implement? Like,
I think they will, just from the standpoint of how we're wanting to implement it in admissions is, I want somebody to be working from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Uh, But finding people that are willing to work from 6 to 9 p.m. is quite the task.
yeah, I
They
know.
would rather be at home with their loved ones, in bed, eating supper, whatever,
Yep.
at that time. So I can have this to be able to set up text messages and phone calls for my students and explorers that call in after hours. They, but then I can also have it up and running from 6 to 8 a.m. because I typically have somebody on all my campuses around 7:30 a.m. So I can have it working those hours that I don't have somebody working. It'll say exactly what I want it to say, and it can even program the appointment. We're wanting it to be able to look at our calendars as far as like even through the text messaging system. If I'm texting with you at 2 a.m., I can't just randomly text people, but if you submit an inquiry, I can submit a text that says, hey, if you're open to a conversation with AI, text back one right now.
Yeah, and
Or a
then
phone call from AI, text back one, two right now, whatever it is. And the AI will set that appointment. So I may show up and realize, oh, I've got 3 new appointments today that I didn't have
yeah,
earlier.
yeah,
It's not going to replace human beings. You can't. I don't. I mean, even as cool as some of this stuff is, it cannot emotionally connect to another human being like you and I connect. It can't.
no.
But it can help. It can help streamline a lot of processes to where you and I can do what we're good at. Admissions people are good at talking to people. Uh, this stuff, not so much.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But,
Paperwork.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
never
if I
do
showed
it.
y'all a picture of my desk, I would be embarrassed.
Yeah, see, they don't do it, and it's like it's all over. As you said, it's the mundane, and no one really wants to do it. But it kind of it's necessary, necessary evil, as they say.
Hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. We actually do all of this stuff already. We developed it for our own business because we obviously do the same things you do, but we just don't do it for ourselves. We do it for you guys. And we've had a lot of success with it. It's made everything so much more easier. And like you said, we get appointments booked on autopilot any time of the day, and our students, oh, sorry, students, admissions team can pick it up.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? But something you mentioned, you said, okay, it can't replace humans. No, it can't. Right now, I've looked at all the stuff. I've been to conferences. It can't replace humans, not in education sector anyway. But that's why I said 2 years instead of 5. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years because the speed, like the stuff, the conversations I've had. I'm not sure if you heard about agentic AI, which is basically an AI that
Mm-mm.
can manage and deploy AI systems, if that makes sense, AI agents.
Oh,
It's like a
wow.
manager. So it's like, so basically, this is some, so the conversations I've had, like
That's cool.
crazy. And that's why I love, so we do a lot in the UAE, Dubai. in
Hmm.
particular. And that's where I first heard about this about a year ago. But I've had some conversations in Dubai. I was there recently for a conference. Because I don't know if you know how much you know, but they're super innovative. They're just like trying to build
Yeah.
like the craziest stuff. But yeah, so we had a conversation, we had a meeting, and long story short, so what they've developed for a company, and they're testing it right now, is like an org chart, you got the CEO, CFO.
Hmm.
They've taken the HR the function, so you got the director of HR, and that whole function they've pushed it away. And instead of it being director of HR, well, they got one director of HR, human, and the rest of it is agentic AI, which is like basically a manager of AI. It can manage the
That's
prompts
cool.
that you mentioned, and then it can deploy them. It can say, okay, cool, you did this, but this isn't right. So do basically a manager, basically.
Yeah.
So it says that this is what's going on. So it's like, and this is in 2020. That was in 2024. So what's gonna happen in 20, like, do you know what I mean? So I don't know what's gonna happen in 5 years, but
Yeah. Well, and that makes sense. Like you said, put having because if you have somebody that's in charge of the AI, you can set it up to, hey, here's the parameters that you work in. You don't move outside of this. And when you get this, you deploy somebody to do that. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, 100, and it's happening. It's just that all of it, a lot of the corporates are just testing in the behind the scenes. I've
Hmm.
had a conversation because I know someone who's in, behind the scenes, but it's like these things are happening already. And then they'll start to roll out across everyone, and it's just like, wow. So yeah, who knows what's gonna happen in 5 years? Um, yeah, who knows?
Nobody.
Nobody, it's terrifying, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what scares everybody. Everybody is the change. It's the fear of the unknown. And I giggle at everybody like, oh, the Terminator, the Terminator. I was like, y'all are being a little over dramatic.
too many movies, man. Too many
Yeah.
movies.
I mean, I love Arnold, but stop watching that movie.
Yeah, exactly. 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 But yeah, it is scary, but for me, it's exciting. I don't think I'm scared. Actually, I like these sort of things. I like technology. I like
Hmm.
innovation. We'll see what happens. Again, it's made my life a lot easier. Clearly, it's going to be making your life a lot easier. So I'm very
Yes.
my team as well, where everyone's a lot happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall it's been a great conversation today.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
And I was Jay, and it circles back to where we started off. Leadership and development. The leaders, how are we going to embrace the change? Because if you and I don't embrace it, what's the rest of our staff going to do?
exactly.
They're going to resist it. So we've got to be the ones. I mean, as the leader, I'm going to see further than the rest of my team because I'm higher up. And so it's up to me to disseminate it down and communicate with them and reassure them, hey, this change is coming. Here's how we're going to prepare for it.
Exactly, exactly. And even to round up the conversation, I wanted to go into some bits around that. We can have a
Mhm.
conversation around leadership. I think maybe again, if we can have a part two, I'm definitely going to be in touch.
Yes.
Again, if I can jump on yours, that would be great as well.
Oh yeah. No, I was about to say we'll definitely do one together. Uh, Again, one way or the other.
Yeah, we'll
Whether
do
it's you joining mine, me joining yours.
100%.
Um,
100%.
mhm.
The leadership's key. Obviously, I'm a leader myself, but I think a lot of the time in our own rights, we're kind of all leaders, but and we got to lead by.
Agreed.
Because everyone can, I think I got a one-liner for you myself here, but
All
like,
right.
uh, let me not ruin my moment. Okay, cool. So, what was it? What is that? I forgot. No, I haven't forgotten. I haven't forgotten. So I say many are called, but few are chosen. But they missed out one key part of that quote. That many are called, few are chosen, because you have to choose yourself. You choose yourself to then step up to be a leader. I think we all have the ability. I think we all in times going to be in leadership positions for whatever reason. It doesn't always have to be work or business. It could be at home, what I mean, it could be anything. And it's like if you choose to step up and take that responsibility, then you can be what you was potentially called for anyway. But it's those are the ones, the guys that step above, take the risk, take the accountability, take the form of accountability. Those are the leaders. But again, you could have been one of those if if you chose yourself, but you chose not to be. It's hard. You know what
It
I mean?
well, it's hard. Leadership is so difficult, but it's hard like whenever you've done it for so long. So I mean, I've tried several times to, all right, I'm just gonna step out. Like I just want to be the worker ant.
Yeah,
I just want to,
I don't think about nothing. Yeah.
and it becomes because they're like, all right, so how would you? I'm like, guys, I just can I just be the like you need the floor swept. I'm gonna go sweep the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go do that. Like put somebody else in charge of this event. I just wanna you say, hey, you move that, and I'll go move
Yeah,
that.
I'll do it because yeah, I just do what you say and I'm done. It's easy.
But you never stay there. You never stay there because it's what. what we were called to do, or and I do agree that's one I teach my staff coming from the top down is so my job is to lead my directors. As a director, your job is to lead your admissions representative. Admissions representatives, it's your job to lead your students.
Simple.
Those guys are yours. You've got to lead them. If you don't, who will?
Yeah. Because they're looking for you. They came and they're looking for
Mhm.
that guidance, and you're not. You need to step up. As I said, you can lead, but if you don't step up, it's just not going to happen. Um, so yeah, I think that that's it. It's a good way. I guess that's a good way to round things up. Aaron, thanks again for jumping on. What I like to do is give everyone a chance to just kind of share some information about themselves or anything that you may want to promote that you may think the audience might find valuable. We will put links in the description of this post, which will be on LinkedIn and other platforms such as YouTube. So, Aaron, the floor is yours once again, if you want to go
Yeah.
ahead.
So yeah, feel free to reach out to me. That you can do the Clark Connection podcast. That's a great one. It's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and I think Amazon is the four places that I have it going. But you can reach me on my website, coachaclark.com. You can email me, Aaron at coachaclark.com. Or if you're looking more school side, you can send an email to daclark at deltacollege.com. And I will preface this that I may not respond immediately, but I always respond. So sometimes it's 48 hours later. I've had some where don't see it until 4 weeks later, but I always respond.
Hey, well, that's a promise. It's recorded, so everyone's heard that now. So
Yes,
perfect to.
yes, yes. I'll tell everybody that's my greatest strength and weaknesses. I do what I say I'm going to do.
I thought that was just fully only a strength, but okay, if you say it's a weakness, then oh no, because then you got to commit. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm committed. I said I'm going to
Yeah,
do it, so I'm going to do it.
yeah. So everyone, please don't destroy his inbox. But yeah, if we will get back to you if you've got anything interesting to say. But yeah, thanks again, Aaron. It was a great chat. It was a great chat. We will definitely do a part two at some point in time, and I look forward to it.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Jake.
Thank you.